Please rise for the Northwest Cabarrus High School class of 2018 and remain standing until the color guard leaves the stage. Please be seated. Good morning. My name is Chris Louder, Superintendent of Cabarrus County Schools, and on behalf of the Cabarrus County Board of Education and the Cabarrus County Schools Administration, I would like to welcome you to today's graduation ceremony as we celebrate and recognize the class of 2018. Every year around this time, I start thinking about graduation and how important it is. Graduating from a public high school is something that the vast majority of Americans experience and something we all share, and it's one of the reasons that it's such a special achievement. Because it's so special, I always try to think about what I want to say to all of you graduates and what I want you to take away on this day of your success. As I contemplated that message, it became crystal clear what that message should be. Do not be afraid of failure. Let me explain what I mean. Failure can be awesome. Failure is often underrated, and sometimes losing is one of the best things that can happen to you. If you look at many important people in history, the list is filled with people that failed and lost. Abraham Lincoln went to war a captain and returned a demoted private. He failed at business, suffered a nervous breakdown, and lost at least 5 elections. He was in many ways a failure. He also led our nation through its greatest crisis and made the emancipation of slaves the official policy of the U.S. government. He may not have been able to do any of these important things if he wouldn't have failed first. Oprah Winfrey desperately wanted to be on television and become a TV anchor. She was demoted from her job as the anchor in Baltimore, and the producer told her she was unfit for television news. He said she got too invested in her stories and demoted her to a much lower daytime show. She failed. That show became a hit, and she used the investment in people and stories to create an empire and to become the undisputed queen of television and worth about $3 billion. Steve Jobs fired from the company that he helped create. Walt Disney fired as an animator and told he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Steven Spielberg rejected 3 times from film school. J.K. Rowling rejected by 12 major publishers, and the list goes on and on. What is important about all of these stories is that these people didn't quit. They failed and learned and kept working towards what they wanted. It's not just work where failure is important. It is important in many other aspects of life. Alfred Lord Tennyson said, "'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all." I think what he meant was it was better to put your heart out there and lose than it is to sit on the sidelines and never tell a person how you feel or never know what it means to love or to be loved. So don't be afraid to put yourself on the line and have your heart broken in two. Having your heart broken the first time may make you more mature and prepared for love the next time. In my own life, even though I didn't know it at first, failure has helped me. I did okay in school and made mostly A's and B's, and then I hit geometry. I found it really difficult and pretty quickly got lost. I remember the first time the teacher passed out the test, and I had no idea how to work any of the problems. I remember looking around the room and seeing everyone else start working. It was like the room was shrinking, and I realized and thought, I'm the biggest failure in the room. I can't do any of this. And to some degree, I never recovered from that day in math. I lost my confidence and struggled with math every other time I took it. Later, when I was trying to decide what I wanted to do with my life, I kept getting drawn back to teaching and a need to try to explain things and connect with other people and hopefully help them not feel like the failure in the room. I became an English teacher, not a math teacher. I loved every day that I spent as a teacher, and I would tell you that the most important thing that helped me as an educator was knowing what it was like to be in that geometry classroom. Knowing what it was like to start sweating because I didn't know or understand was the most important skill I had as a teacher, because I could help other students that didn't understand. I'm thankful for struggling in geometry because I believe struggling in geometry made me a much better teacher. Pat Conroy, the author of The Prince of Tides and The Lords of Discipline, wrote a lesser-known book called My Losing Season. It's one of my favorite books. Mr. Conroy was a senior on the basketball team for the Citadel in 1966 and 1967. The team finished 8-17. In other words, they were a losing team. My Losing Season is about all the things he learned about himself and life during that year. He said, "Many of my teammates wish that year never happened. I consider it one of the great years of my life, if not the greatest. If I could change history, if I could change everything that happened that year, if I could bring us a national championship, I wouldn't do it." We live in a world where everyone and everything tells you that you must always win. Win, win, win. Win at all costs. Mr. Conroy offers a different take. He says, "Winning makes you think you'll always get the girl, land the job, deposit the $1 million paycheck, win the promotion, and you grow accustomed to a life of answered prayers. Loss is a fiercer, more compromising teacher, cold-hearted but clear-eyed in its understanding that life is more dilemma than game and more trial than free pass. My acquaintance with loss has sustained me during the stormy passages of my life, and though I learned some things from the games we won that year, I learned much, much more from loss." And so, to the class of 2018, we say congratulations. As you go out into the world, know that failure is part of everyone's story. You have nothing to fear. Your experience and your family and your teachers and your community have prepared you to live a great life. Even though there will be difficulties, your ability to fail and keep fighting is what will determine your destiny. My wish for you is very simple. It is that you try your best and learn how to fail, because failure is how every major success story begins.
Thank you, Dr. Louder. Good morning, friends, faculty, administration, and family. I'd first like to thank Dr. Louder, Ms. Carolyn Carpenter, Mr. David Harrison, Mr. Rob Walter, Mr. Barry Shoemaker, Dr. Robert Kirk, Mr. Vince Powell, Ms. Lynn Reimer, Ms. Kelly Klutz, Dr. Kelly Probst, Ms. Glenn Jones, and Dr. Crystal Hill. I'd also like to thank our principal, Mr. Myers, and our assistant principals. Last but certainly not least, a huge thank you to our faculty, family, and everyone for coming out this early to bear witness to one of the most pivotal moments in our lives. Graduation, we made it. Just think, 720 days, give or take, of the high school experience, waking up every morning at about 5:45 a.m., going to school to interact with the same people day in and day out. You all become a family, and this family academically has earned over millions of dollars in scholarships. Athletically, several of our sports teams advanced to the state playoffs. These are just a few accomplishments that we've obtained together, but now we will all go through different walks of life, such as college, the military, the workforce, or even having a family. Yet one thing that we will forever have in common is that we are all Trojans. Please allow me to encapsulate the Trojan War for those who are unfamiliar. This war was fought between the Greeks and the Trojans, who went back and forth for many years. The Greeks were unable to bring the mighty city of Troy down despite their best military efforts. At this point, the Greeks devised a plan to fool the Trojans with the gift of a wooden horse. The Trojans believed this gift symbolized the withdrawal of the Greek army and the end of the war, so they foolishly brought the horse inside of the city walls, not knowing that the Greek soldiers were waiting inside to attack. The Trojans, ecstatic that the decade-long had finally come to an end, became complacent and celebrated. Ultimately, their complacency and celebration led to the demise of the Trojans as the Greeks emerged from the horse and caught the Trojans completely off guard. So in your future endeavors, never become too complacent. Fight all of your personal battles to completion. If you are unsuccessful in any area of your life, learn from the mistake you've made and use it to grow. That is what high school has taught us to do. Know that we can be products of our past, but that does not mean that we have to be prisoners to it. In the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, we are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is today. We are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. There is such thing as being too late. There is no time for apathy or complacency. This is a time for vigorous and positive action. So go forward with a clear heart and clear mind and the tenacity to accomplish great things. This is the start of something new. Thank you. Now I'd like to welcome Haley Frazier for the Keynote Address.
Thank you, LaDeja. Have you ever been hiking I know many of you have just by seeing your posts on Instagram when you get to the peak of Crowder's Mountain or King's Mountain. We can all imagine that scaling mountains is a strenuous, taxing activity that yields unbelievable results by way of reaching your destination. Now, for just a second, I ask you to close your eyes and imagine. You've just embarked on a 4-year journey up a 25,000-foot mountain. Eyes strained by the sun and head craned upward, you stand at the base in awe of the wonder you are going to conquer. And so it begins, high school. You walk the narrow, uneven trails, curving, winding, bumping, jerking. You hold tight to the straps of your backpack and press on. Feet sore from the trek, back aching from your pack, heart pounding from the heat. You can't see the summit above the thick canopy. There's no light breaking through the trees. You were lost, with only the path paved by those who walked before you as your guide. Left, right, there is no subduing the ache in your feet, but there is even less subduing your desire to reach the summit. You cross rivers, climb over fallen trees, mend broken shoes, and keep climbing. All at once, the trees break. There's a glimmer of sunlight, of hope. Just a few more steps and you see it, the whole world in front of you. Suddenly, there's nothing in between you and the sky. Look around. Today, we are here. We are at the summit. We have climbed a mountain. It took us 4 years, 25,000 feet, a lot of lost sleep, but most of all, dedication to our goal. In these 4 years, Shia LaBeouf started wearing a bag on his head. How I Met Your Mother ended. Justin Bieber was arrested. The Patriots won the Super Bowl twice. Apple Watches became a thing. Mad Men officially ended. The old Taylor is dead. And spoiler alert, we may be on our last Jedi. The Force is reawakened. The Cubs ended their 108-season drought to win the World Series. Beyoncé debuted Lemonade. Leonardo DiCaprio finally won an Oscar. Stranger Things took the world by storm. J.K. Rowling came out with a new book, the blue versus gold dress debate, and now Laurel versus Yanny. We've come a long way. We've climbed past Scantrons with tick marks filling the alleyways, the infamous freshman mile, Kahoot games where we came in last, the periodic table, the Battle of Waterloo, the quadratic formula, the Phoenician, Spanish conjugation, C6, H12O6, sine, cosine, and tangent. But as we look back at the path we have traversed, we see the joys that we encountered along the way. When your hard work paid off when you got an A in that difficult class, when the Nutties stampeded through the stands at the 2015 Cottle Creek Cup game, when we helped Christian Hebner live his dream. With every spring carnival, FFA plant sale, tennis match, spring musical, pep rally, band competition, baseball game, Spanish cultural celebration, and everything in between. As we stand here today at the summit, we can see the path behind us and the open air in front of us. But at the top of every mountain, there's another mountain peeking over the edge of the horizon. After all, that is why we call it a range. These past 4 years will not be your only climb, and today will not be your only peak. This mountain has a diploma at its peak. That mountain far off in the distance may have another diploma on top, or a salary, or your first apartment, or the beginnings of a family, maybe even a dog. Keep climbing. The trek is tiresome, and it won't be easy, but the reward, the way you feel right now, is worth every essay, every EOC, every unit circle gateway test, every conjugamos, every lost game, every all-nighter, everything. As Miley Cyrus once said, there's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. It's always gonna be an uphill battle, and sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. It ain't about how fast I get there. It ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. This life is your climb. After today, we begin our descent and consequentially our new climb. After today, we begin a new trail, a trail of our own creation. After today, we hike without a map towards our next peak. We decide which river to cross, which fallen tree to climb over, which fork to take. We decide where our paths lead. Now, we stand at the base of the next mountain, eyes strained by the sun in awe of the wonder we are going to conquer. And so it begins, life. As we leave here today and embark on our next climb, I challenge you to keep pressing, pushing, persevering towards the summit. Keep climbing until all you see is sky for forever. I would now like to welcome our principal, Mr. Chris Myers.
Thank you, LaDeja and Haley, for those wonderful comments. Good morning and welcome, Dr. Louder, school board members, distinguished guests, parents, and most importantly, the 2018 Northwest Cabarrus High School graduating class. It is a great honor for me to stand before you this morning as your principal and recommend your 284 names as candidates for graduation. This morning is the culmination that so many of you began 13 years ago. Over the course of that time, your paths ultimately led you to Northwest Cabarrus High School. For many of you, your time at Northwest Cabarrus High School began on an August morning 4 short years ago. For others, your time at Northwest may have been shorter. However, what is important this morning is not how your journey began, but that today you will forever be a member of Trojan Nation. It is my sincere hope that you take the pride of the orange and black with you as you embark on the next chapter of your lives. For many of you, it is likely that your lives have changed immensely, hopefully for the better, during your time at Northwest. As LaDeja mentioned in her welcome speech, the class of 2018 is responsible for many accomplishments. First and foremost, your class was awarded with $7 million in scholarships for your academic excellence, and we have our inaugural graduating class of Academy of Health Science students here this morning. Athletically, this year was a resounding success. To recap, our girls' basketball team and the football team advanced to the state playoffs for the first time in 6 years. We were conference champions in wrestling and had individual conference champions in track, cross country, and wrestling. The girls and boys soccer team advanced to the state playoffs and hosted home games. And if you had the pleasure of attending, few will forget the first round state playoff baseball victory, capping a tremendous comeback year for our coaches and athletes. Artistically, the Winter Guard placed 18th in the world out of 164 teams. The mixed chorus earned a rating of excellent in MPAs, and the advanced theater class wrote an original production and received a superior rating and excellence in ensemble acting award. I still can't figure out why there was no Bloomie nominations for the spring musical Cinderella, but regardless, it was truly exceptional. In addition to those accolades, your commitment to school and community service has and is extraordinary. Our JROTC department earned the Distinguished Unit Award for the 12th consecutive year and contributed over 1,600 hours of community service. Of particular note was the cadets' involvement in the Sandbox's An Evening for Believing prom. This event was designed specifically for children with cancer or other life-threatening diseases, with a focus on forgetting about the rigors of treatment and the opportunity to eat and dance the night away with their families and friends. Other students raised money for the charity Tackling Childhood Cancer by entering a team and winning the inaugural flag football trophy over all of the other high schools in the county. And who can forget your contributions last year in helping to send a Trojan on a dream adventure? Take with you the look of wonder and appreciation you saw as you opened the doors in the car rider line and mentored the students at Royal Boger and visited nursing homes over the holidays with your sports teams. Do not forget the excitement you saw in the children's eyes and the enthusiasm that you felt in their high fives several weeks ago as you walked the halls of Royal Boger. Think of that and always look for ways to inspire, motivate, and bring joy to others as you move forward in this life. Collectively, no matter how small or large, each one of you has helped to make Northwest Cabarrus High School the wonderful place that it is. You, Northwest Cabarrus High School graduates of 2018, are a phenomenal group of young people. You are the epitome of what every young person should aspire to be. You are a wonderful collection of scholars, athletes, artists, and philanthropists. Today is an ending, but also the beginning of endless opportunities and adventures, whether in college, the armed forces, the workforce, or just life. You have achieved so much, but the best is yet to come. I am certain that whatever your future holds will at times present you with adversity. Haley used mountains to describe the adversity, and broken trees, shoes, aches, and darkness to describe life's obstacles. Haley is correct that if you remain steadfast and focused, you will reach the summit of your choosing. Thank you, parents and family, for instilling those values in all of you. And at some point, reach out to that favorite teacher, or maybe not so favorite teacher at Northwest Cabarrus High School, who really challenged you to be better than you thought you could be. Although I am certainly biased, we are fortunate to have such an outstanding group of teachers, coaches, teacher assistants, child nutrition workers, bus drivers, and support staff at Northwest Cabarrus, who at times, regardless of whether you wanted it or not, helped push, pull, and prod you to the top of the summit that is high school. Use those lessons, conversations, and interactions to help shape you over the course of your lifetime. Whatever you decide to do so while living a life of integrity, humor, and humility. Northwest Cabarrus High School, class of 2018, congratulations. We love you, we are proud of all you have accomplished, and most importantly, all of the great things yet to come. Please remember that what you are doing represents yourself, your family, your community, and your world. To quote the American masterpiece Gossip Girl, do your best to make the most of this beautiful, terrifying, and at times messed up experience that is our life's journey.
In the quiet, misty morning, when the moon has gone to bed, when the sparrows stop their singing, and the sky is clear and red, when the summer ceased its gleaming, when the corn is past its prime, when adventure's lost its meaning, I'll be homeward bound in time. I lean on to the pasture, chain me not to the past, set me free to find my calling, and I'll return to you somehow. If you find it's me you're missing, if you're hoping you'll return, through your thoughts I'll soon be listening. In the road I'll stop and turn, then the wind will set me racing, as my journey nears its end, and the path I'll be retracing, when I'm homeward bound again. Bind me not to the pasture, chain me not to the past, set me free to find my calling, and I'll return to you somehow. In the quiet, misty morning, when the moon has gone to bed, when the sparrows stop their singing, I'll be homeward bound again.
Now, we will present diplomas to the class of 2018. John Giselle Dawson Accompanato, magna cum laude. Jaciel Alejandro Acosta Hernandez. Avian Lanique Alexander. Jamalise Alfaro Canales. Mario Alvarado Longoria. Dylan Dean Anderson, magna cum laude. Jade Nicole Anderson, summa cum laude. Jacqueline Aparicio Javier. Adam Thomas Ashbaugh, summa cum laude. Alexander Avila Noyola. Lauren Olivia Barbie, summa cum laude. DeAnthony Ryan Barnhart. Madison J. Barnhart. Maeve Ann Balcom, magna cum laude. Ariana Nicole Beam. Isaiah Demetrius Beam. Austin Heinrich Beaver, summa cum laude. Pretender Singh Betty, magna cum laude. Mason Lewis Berger, summa cum laude. Jose Edwin Beza. Royce Allen Blackshear. Caleb Blake. Carson Allen Bost, summa cum laude. Dakota Lane Bost. Robert Sawyer Brown, cum laude. Tatiana Imani Buchanan. Colby James Bumgarner. Sabrina Rain Bunn. Anaya Anjay Burton. Amani Dijay Caldwell. Caitlin Paula Campbell. Jalen Keon Cannon. Garrett Cole Carbinia. Hunter Gordon Carlisle. Ivan Carmona Vargas. Shelby Lee Carroll. Noredes Margarita Casanovas Martinez, magna cum laude. Megan Grace Castor. Renata Diana Chaguancaye, cum laude. Luis Fernando Chavez Patricio. Susana Chavez Marquez. Odalis Patricio Chegwe. Brittany Lilia Sherry, cum laude. Nareda Elida Cerrillo. Laura Dare Clement, magna cum laude. Grace Madison Clifford. Lauren Mackenzie Klein. Ben Terrence Coates. Michael Wayne Coffey. Hannah Ray Collins, magna cum laude. Alexa Deanne Conklin. Ethan Sergey Conrad, summa cum laude. Christian Cortez Viviano. Madison Haley Cox, magna cum laude. Javon Robert Craig. Matthew Alexander Craig. Amelia Greer Crawford, summa cum laude. Mackenzie Ann Crowder, magna cum laude. Kathleen Cruz Sorosa, magna cum laude. Madison Elizabeth Darrell. Lisbeth Adai de la Rosa Perez. Ayana Jeray Dean. Timothy Christian Dean. Joshua Martin Dominguez. Robert Frank Donaldson. Charles Henry Taylor Dow, summa cum laude. Kimber Ann Dreesen, summa cum laude. Brandon Russell Dunkel. Hyatt Channing Durham, summa cum laude. Corey Anthony Eddy. Tyler David Urban, cum laude. Madeline Mary Ellen Every. Robin Lynette Every, magna cum laude. Devin Paul Faggard. Michaela Shiriel Fair, cum laude. Camila Bell Fenderson. Helena Marie Fiddler, summa cum laude. Anna Louise Spike, summa cum laude. Thomas Edward Fike. Brianna Kim Fiore. Shannon Nehemiah Fleming. Alex Marquez Flores. Carlos Miguel Flores Perez. Nicole Ann Foggin. Mark Andrew Foster, magna cum laude. Michael Wade Fowler. Haley Nicole Frazier, summa cum laude. Samantha Lopez Garcia. Noemi Garcia Monje, cum laude. Keyshawn Brandon Gentry, magna cum laude. Megan Ann Gerderman, cum laude. Leslie Ann Gibson, cum laude. Joanna Michelle Gilmore, summa cum laude. Chance Xavier Gladden. Mikhail Robert Godwin. Brian Stanley Gomez, summa cum laude. Ariana Ruth Gonzalez Arate. Jason Gold. Brian Stanley Gomez, summa cum laude. Ariana Ruth Gonzalez Arate. Julio Cesar Gonzalez, summa cum laude. Megan Ray Graham, magna cum laude. Nicole Grapain de Caldo, magna cum laude. Jada Deshawn Mariah Green Murray, cum laude. Jordan Lance Gregory, summa cum laude. John Patrick Griffin. Rachel Inez Guadarrama.
Darius Andrew Haddon. Mara Paisley Hale. Alan Chase Hamlin. Isaac Zachary Haywood. Isaiah Jackson Haywood. Brianna Hare. Ivan Sitlali Hernandez. Giovanni Herrera Contiero, magna cum laude. Victoria Marie Hill. Trevon Jacole Hobson. Sarah Christie Holt, summa cum laude. Deshaun Jamal Howie. Adrienne Janelle Hughes. Leah Rybolt Honeycutt, summa cum laude. Brandon Lane Isley. Destiny Ariel Jackson. David Ryan James, summa cum laude. Jacob Christopher Johansson, cum laude. Brandon Tavon Johnson. Taylor Paige Joplin. Chase Reed Jorgensen, summa cum laude. Michael Dale Julian. Joshua Matthew Kazaya. Dallas Allen King, cum laude. Lindsay Elaine King, summa cum laude. David Christian Kirk, summa cum laude. Jaleesa Nicole Knox. Catherine Ann Cruzy, summa cum laude. Shelby Lynn Kaya, summa cum laude. Andrew Eric Lamb. Kataya Sherry Laster, cum laude. Delisha Renee Latham. Riley Alexander Latham. Thomas Fraser Laws, summa cum laude. Mason McIntyre Leach. Xiaochuan Leong. Christopher Chase Linker. Denise Mariani Lopez. Francis Ann Lutterlow. Nicholas Arthur McMillan. Saharabi Muganda Astudio. Nicole Maldonado Arman. Christopher Bryson Martin. Tyler Craig Martin. Nayli Martinez. Liliana Martinez Melendez. Jasmine Renee Massey. Tanner Christopher Maston. Colby Tyler Maropoulos. Sean Van Everett McClamrock. Alyssa Joy McClintock, summa cum laude. Trey Stephen McCorkle. Alicia Gail McKenzie, magna cum laude. Daryl Levon McMeans Jr. Joaquin Angel Meja Zambrano. Isabel Teresa Mello, summa cum laude. Randolph Joshua Mendoza Camaro. Aaliyah Taisha Miller. Kennedy Michaela Miller Green. Ethan Douglas Mills. Chandler Arrington Mitchell. David Lysander Mitchell. Brian Christopher Brian Monteleone, cum laude. Alexi Milagros Monzon. Micaiah Rivers Moore. Jose Morales Garcia. Devin Tyler Morgan. Hannah Michelle Morris. Emily Elizabeth Muller, summa cum laude. Alana Breck Murphy, summa cum laude. Rebecca Abigail Netzley, summa cum laude. Ashley Elizabeth New, cum laude. Eliana Grace Newkirk, summa cum laude. Amber Marie Nielsen, cum laude.
Elise Victoria Nunn. LaDeja Alexis Odom, cum laude. China Monet Orta. Joshua Israel Ortiz. Mason Cress Overby, magna cum laude. Darren Victor Palmares, cum laude. Aaliyah Helen Payne. Peyton Wesley Penninger, cum laude. Ryan Gregory Pink. Abigail Renee Pepin, cum laude. Eleni Andrena Peralta. Michelle Perez Rodriguez. Alexandra Michelle Petrie, magna cum laude. Brittany Skyland Porter, cum laude. Joshua Tyler Poteet. Jakira Lena Presley. Owen Gary Provost. Fiona Winky Pooh, summa cum laude. Samuel Foyle Ruffalt. Jonathan Tanner Reagan. Josmarlin Ramirez, magna cum laude. Jennifer Morena Ramirez Medina, magna cum laude. Gavin Dane Ratliff. Garrison Tyler Reed. Litzy Elideth Rendon, cum laude. Ches Luis Reyes. Josiah Patricia Reynolds. Megan Renee Roney, magna cum laude. Benjamin Joseph Rice. Nakaya Lamantia Richardson. Dylan Michael Ritchie. Justin Michael Robeson. Madison Claire Robinson, cum laude. Trisha Tiana Robinson, cum laude. Lauren Marie Rocker. Haley Mackenzie Rogers. Adriana Elise Rodriguez. Cheyenne Marie Roop, summa cum laude. Michael Lee Rumpel. Jatin Piyush Ruparelia, summa cum laude. Griffin Liam Eric Rustia. Gabriela Irais Sandoval Gonzalez, cum laude. Richard Orell Savage. Amal Deshawn Scott. Isabel Reed Siebold, summa cum laude. Danielle Segovia Gomez. Savannah Caitlin Sexton, cum laude. Anthony Eugene Schenkel. Grace Meredith Sheeran, summa cum laude. Courtney Ryan Sheehan. Lusimba Musinya Shiluli, summa cum laude. Hannah Faith Shin, cum laude. Brian Cameron Shuntick, summa cum laude. Benjamin Patrick Silver, summa cum laude. Larry Gani Sims. Marshall Blake Sinclair, magna cum laude. Tucker McCoy Skaggs, cum laude. Savannah Ray Slaughter, magna cum laude. Rebecca Cheyenne Smith. William Alexander Smith, cum laude. Mackenzie Ann Speck, summa cum laude. Jillian Shea Starnes, cum laude. Brittany Leanne Steele, cum laude. Alden Taylor Sturka, summa cum laude. Coleman James Stewart, summa cum laude. Almondo Joseph Stockdale. Danielle Laurice Storti. Kaylee Elizabeth Tapp, summa cum laude. Brooke Nicole Thomas. Ashley Caitlin Thompson, summa cum laude. Mahogany Jade Torrance. Annalise Claire Trevina, summa cum laude. Tristan Alexander Troll. Michaela Brianna Tyler. Alisa Maria Valladares. Virginia Lynn Van Pelt, cum laude. Holly Ann Van Ravestein, magna cum laude. Jasmine Demira Vinny, magna cum laude. Vakila Justice Verbal. Donovan Joseph Villaseñor. Kirsten Elaine Von Clar, summa cum laude. Andrew Chanon Vongpachan. Christopher Ryan Wallace. Najir Jalan Washington. Brittany Michelle Waters, summa cum laude. Caroline Nicole Weaver, cum laude. Ariel Lilu Whitley. Cameron Grant Williams, magna cum laude. Jackson Hardy Williford, summa cum laude. Emilia Elise Wilson. Haley Paige Wilson. Ayana Monet Wilson, cum laude. Carter Marie Wiseman, summa cum laude. Alexandria Ray Wood, cum laude. Joshua Michael Wood, magna cum laude. Tyler Mackenzie Worth, cum laude. Orion Jacob Yao. Malik Tier Zeiler. Edwin Zhang, summa cum laude.
If everyone will now please rise for the singing of our alma mater. Parents, Northwest Cabarrus High School staff members, guests, it is with great pride that I present our Northwest Cabarrus High School class of 2018 graduates. Seniors, Please turn your tassels. We now pronounce you graduates, 2018 Northwest Cabarrus High School. One, two, 1, 2, 3.